Happening, people, and welcome back to Gav Goes In. Guys, big up yourselves. Apologies for just coming on now. Bear me 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Been a bit of a rush, man. Sorry. Apologies. So yeah, guys, big up yourselves each and every time. Obviously, some of the news that's been coming in. Big up to Danny Mackinoff. Big up Danny for coming back on. Big up to Reluctant Gamer each and every time. And guys, as you can see in the thumbnail, the title, Manchester United get their pants pulled down by Brentford. You know, and again, any of you that have been watching my streams for long enough will know that I said, big up to Sham as well. You guys will know that I've been saying I can see Brentford doing that, and why wouldn't they? So obviously, as we know as well, United have made a bid, an improved bid for Bryan Mbuemo, which is reaching, I think, 70 mil. And again, guys, you know, I'm not really that surprised, because United have been trying to take the piss for too long. Big up to Barbara Joseph. And Brentford now have said, look, 70 mil. And I believe United's recent bid, I think from what I see, was it 65 mil plus add-ons. Again, is that going to be enough to get Bryan Mbuemo at the club? I'm not too sure, you know, because it might be a case of Brentford now trying to squeeze as much money out of United as possible. And I wonder now if Brentford actually wants 70 mil up front, you know. So yeah, so from what I'm seeing, 65 mil plus add-ons, you know. And how funny is it that that was the bid that would have got United Mbuemo in the first place? Big up to Walter for coming on. Says, what's next after Mbuemo? Bro, listen, this is the big question, because I'm just pissed off. You know, I'm desensitized from this transfer window already, because to think that United have taken this long, and now they've offered the money that Brentford would have taken in the first instance. You know, it's just been a massive shambles, man, to be honest with you. And 65 mil plus add-ons. Again, I would like to know what these add-ons are, because are these add-ons going to be realistic? Because for me, I've got a feeling Brentford are going to want 70 mil, you know, because they haven't rejected the offer, you know. Again, guys, there's more things to talk about today as well. But keep your questions coming in. But as I said, I think I don't see 70 mil. I don't see what United have offered now. I don't think that gets accepted. I think Brentford now going to say 70 mil straight and no add-ons, because United have just been pissing about. And I did say, you know, Brentford would now look at the market and think, well, we've got Elanga going for 55, João Pedro going for 55, Kudus 55, Gibbs White 60, you know, Bino Gittins 55. You know, all these other deals have been going for that amount of money. And we have to say, right here, right now, Bryan Mbuemo is top of the list. So they're gonna at least want at least 10 mil on top of that. And as I said, you know, them saying they want 70 mil now, you know, I predicted this just because United have been messing about. And again, yeah, it's just, guys, I will get back to your questions after, but it's frustrating because United have wasted so much time. And again, the next target, I can't even tell you who the next target's going to be. So big up to Walter, because I can't tell you if I can't even tell you who the next target United are looking at, you know. And again, I'm not really too interested no more, because this is just taking too long to get this deal over the line. And Mbuemo's definitely going to go, I do think. But I don't know if he goes for this bid. You know, I just don't know, because if I'm Brentford, I'm just saying, look, 70 mil, or we keep him. You know, that's what I think. But Who knows? Who knows? Guys, let me know what you think. Do you think that Bryan Mbuemo goes for this price, or do you think Brentford are gonna drive a hard bargain? Because as I said, if I'm Brentford, you know, I'm holding out for 70 mil. And I do believe Brentford can get 70 mil now. Because I know obviously they're going to risk having an unhappy player who's got 1 year left on his contract. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, I just seen some. Guys, I will get back to your chat because some of you are putting some stuff in the chat. And Danny said he's guessing Barking or Raynham. I'm actually close. I'm actually grew up close to them areas, not too far from them areas. Funny enough, you know. But big up to Sham. Sham says he was born next to Dagenham. Yeah, Sean. Sham, I was born. I don't know if you know Barkingside, Clayhall, Ilford. Yeah, that's where I was. That's where I was born, man. I was actually born in Barking Hospital. Funny enough, but obviously I used to live near Ilford. But big up, man. Anyway. So yeah, guys, as I said, man, Bryan Mbuemo, I just don't know if this gets over the line. You know, I just don't know because yeah, you'd have to believe now that they would want at least 70 mil up front, you know. But who knows? Who knows, man? Because I as I said, I do think that Brentford might look at it and think they've just been messed around for too long. And they might just think, yeah, like, you know, you've messed us around, so now we're gonna mess you around. And again, I don't see Mbuemo kicking up a fuss if he doesn't get the move. I don't think he will, because I think he'll look at it and think to himself, Brentford have put him on the map, you know, and they're only asking for what they feel the player's worth and what he means to them. And the fact that United have only now come in with a 70 mil bid is poor. And again, it's not 70 million up front. It's 65 plus add-ons. Whereas that bid, as I said, would have got Mbuemo if United offered that in the first instance. So it's funny how that works out. But guys, make sure you put your opinions in the chat. And let me know, guys, some of the latest news today as well. And we're going to discuss that. I'm going to go through some of your chats right now as well. And big up yourselves each and every time for coming through. And guys, make sure you smash that like button. Okay, yesterday's stream was a good one. Let's at least try and hit 10 as a minimum. So if you're in here and you're enjoying the content, just smash that like button. And again, make sure you sub to the channel at GavGoesIn. So we're going to go through some of the chat now, guys. Danny says Andy Carroll's playing. Yeah, listen, I see that. So I heard that Andy Carroll's actually got a share in Dagenham Redbridge as well. So yeah, to think that he's still kicking ball, you know, at that age is it's still mad, really. I would have thought he would have retired a little while ago, but yeah, obviously Dagenham, you know, obviously. You know, he used to live in that area anyway. So when he was playing for West Ham, not far from there, you'd believe. But yeah, at 36, playing League One, yeah, it's decent. Yeah, big up Sham, man. I think you mentioned that before, Harold Hill, man. I used to live in Harold Wood, so we were rivals, Sham. Big up, man. Just separated by the A12, but big up, man. Oh, Danny, you're from Wandsworth, yeah? Okay. Wandsworth. What's that? That's southeast London, isn't it? Wandsworth. Yeah, Heady 1 and Fredo, yeah. I thought Heady 1 was from Broadwater Farm, though, North London. So, guys, in other news, as I said, who would have thought, guys? Hugo Ekatike. We'll go on to him in a minute. Johan Visser is now Newcastle's #1 target for the striker position. And I did say, you know, I'm surprised Newcastle didn't target him earlier on in the window. Can I see a window where both Mbuemo and Visser both leave Brentford? I mean, I think if Brentford lose both of them, they're 2 goal scorers. I mean, I don't know where they go from that. I know obviously you got Kevin Sade still there, and you'd think that Sade will be better for his for his season just gone. But to lose Mbeumo and Visser, I think you're losing about 70% of the goals. So that's going to be massive to Brentford. And what I would say, the fact that Ekatike, as we know, has chosen Liverpool, and big up to everyone in the chat that did say Ekatike was going Liverpool. Because personally, I thought Ekatike was going to choose Newcastle. But, you know, I think the fact that there's a space that is available for Ekatike to go in and start straight away, I think that would have been the turning factor. And again, he's going to the champions as well. So, which is why Newcastle now have turned their heads to Johan Visser. And I think Visser's going to be a very good signing. I actually think Visser, and this might be a bit of a shock, I think Visser's going to be a better signing than what Ekatike is going to Newcastle. I think Visser is ready to help Newcastle, you know, push on. So I think them going for Visser instead of and Ekatike turning them down, I think that's probably worked out in Newcastle's favour. You know, if they keep Isak as well and they get Visser, I think they'll score more goals. And again, Visser can play from out wide as well. You know, so I think it's a great signing, man. If they get that over the line, I think I heard, is it 30 to 40 mil or something like that? I think that's fair. I think, what is he, 28? I think might be, but I think that's a good signing, man. If they get him over the line. Big up to Boubacar Soro. Boubacar, let me ask you, are you what's that, Senegalese or Ivory Coast? Says bonsoir, Bryan Mbuemo, Vas Venet, and Manchester United. I'm guessing you're saying he's on the verge of joining Man United. For me, I think there's still a lot of work to do personally, because I'm gonna say I know United have offered 65 plus 5 or to reach 70, but I just wonder if Brentford are now gonna try and drive a hard bargain and ask for that 70 mil up front. You know, I think that's what they're gonna do, man. But who knows? Who knows? Big up to Irfan, Aria, Fanzia as well. Yeah, big up, man, for coming through. Guys, come on, only 4 likes. Let's smash the like button and sub to the channel. Sham says, the fact Newcastle has gone in for Visser, that's the only reason United have upped their bid to get Mbuemo. But again, did that bid for Mbuemo come through before Newcastle made their intentions clear on Visser? Because that would be interesting to see if they did. Because if United have only acted because Newcastle have shown interest in Visser, then again, that's poor. Because what United are actually doing as well, United know that Mbuemo, his favoured destination is United. So United are just sitting tight, trying to take the piss, really, and drive Brentford down. And the fact now that Brentford are saying they want 70 mil, that's why I'm saying they've pulled United's pants down. Because United could have got this deal done for 60 mil and been on to the next target. So they've just been fucking around. And now, all of a sudden, they're trying to offer 65 plus 5, which is what Brentford would have taken if they offered 60 mil plus 5 in the first instance. So, yeah, this club just ain't serious, man, when it comes to signings. They just end up just messing about. And if you look at it now, yeah, it's just frustrating, man. And again, I'll be very interested to see if Brentford accepts. And what I would say as well, guys, don't be surprised if Visser agrees a deal with Newcastle before Brentford have accepted United's offer, and then Brentford turn around and say, you know what? We want a bit more money now because we've lost Visser. So if you want Mbuemo, who's our best player, you've now got to offer us an extra 5 mil. Because if I'm Brentford, I just take the piss, because it's not Brentford's fault. It's Man United's fault for just messing around. You know, guys, let me know what you think in the chat as well. As Gamer said, he believes Visser will be a better signing. Yeah, listen, I think he will. You know, I do think what's his name, Ekatike would have been a good signing. But if you look at Vissa's he's Premier League proven. You know, he's ready to come in and shine now. I think with Ekatike, he's gonna take some time to adapt. Whereas Vissa's ready to go now. So I think for Newcastle that might be better. You know, and as we know, he's given Ekatike's chosen Liverpool, you know, and I'm not surprised, but I did think he might have been going to Newcastle for sure. Guys, what other news? What other news? Obviously, Brentford are trying to get in Amari Hutchinson, and you know what? It's mad, isn't it? Amari Hutchinson bid rejected of 35 mil. You know, I would have never thought that really. But again, it just shows you what this window is and the prices that a lot of these players are going for now. And I reckon if Brentford going for another bid, and again Brentford are gonna have to be careful now, because if they accept the bid for Mbeumo, Ipswich are gonna now know that they've got 70 million in their pocket. So Ipswich might say, okay, well, we want 50 mil now, you know, and Brentford have got the money. So again, Brentford now are going to have to be smart, because they're going to have to agree a fee for Amari Hutchinson, wherever that's going to be, before they sell Mbuemo. Because I can guarantee you this now, if they agree a deal with Man United for Mbuemo now, and there's nothing agreed for Amari Hutchinson, why wouldn't Ipswich just ask for as much money as they can, being realistic? You know, because I think anyone would do the same thing. But yeah, man, it's just annoying, man, because this United team are just they're just taking the piss, man. To be honest, Inter Milan offered 34.6 for Ademola Lookman. You know what? That's going to be a good signing, and I think Inter Milan need reinforcements in their team as well. You know, I think they're an aging team. I think they're also looking at Sancho apparently as well, along with Juventus. Guys, you know what? I don't know why, but I can't see Sancho going. I don't know what you guys think, but something's telling me Sancho is not going to go. I don't know why, but I can see Sancho digging in his heels and not moving. And again, I can see, because he's got 1 year left on his contract, and obviously they're talking about a payoff, and again, they're talking about him going there on a permanent. But I'm just looking at the fact that he's on the wage that he's on, the fact that he's got 1 year left to run. I just don't understand why he would want to go there on a permanent. Like, it doesn't make sense. Big up to 40 Years Life. Yeah, big up, man, for coming back on each and every time. Sham says Sancho wouldn't want to take a pay cut. Other teams don't want to pay what he's on. Bro, 100%. And I had this conversation again with I think it was yesterday, with someone at work, you know, and again, it's very clear that this guy doesn't like Jadon Sancho. But what he's saying is that Sancho was lazy. You know, he was saying that Sancho doesn't want that. Sancho's got a bad attitude because he doesn't want to take a pay cut. You know, and again, I put the question to the guy. You know, I said, you're in Sancho's shoes. The club, rightly or wrongly, have given you a higher wage. You know, you haven't been treated well by the club. They're trying to force you out because the new regime want to have a cap on the wages, and now the club are trying to force you out, and they're trying to get you to take a pay cut. And then when you don't want to take a pay cut, you've got fans at Man United saying that you're greedy and you've got a bad attitude, which is not true. Because at the end of the day, why should he take a pay cut? You know, if you're in your daily job, you know, and your company, you know, gives you 100 grand a week, let's say, or a month, let's say, and all of a sudden they say, you know what, we want to put a cap on the wages now, so we're going to take your wage down by 50% to 50 grand. Are you honestly going to agree to that? Because I'll tell you this now, I would never agree to that. And you're a better man than me if you do agree to that. And then some people will say, yeah, but it's football at the end of the day. He needs to want to play. I hear it. But again, as we know, football's become a business for one. And why should he take a pay cut because the club want to force him out? This is why I'm saying I just hope that the club come to a compromise and then they can negotiate another contract for him, slightly less money. Because I do believe that a player of his quality needs to be in this at this club. He's good enough to play for Man United. He is, But we'll wait and see what happens because for me, there's I just don't see Sancho moving on. I just don't see it, man. I can see something. I can see him staying. I can see it. If he does go, then fair enough. But I don't know. Something's telling me that he might stay. Yeah, exactly, Sham. Hell no. No one will take a pay cut. I think what it is, you got armchair fans that will say, Sancho's got a bad attitude. He should because he doesn't want to take a wage cut. But they're not putting themselves in his shoes. He's been treated badly by this club. They put him on a higher wage, whether that's right or wrong. And now all of a sudden, because they want to change the wage structure, he now has to be forced out and be forced to take a wage cut. Like, it's madness. Why would he need to? He shouldn't have to. And again, if Sancho was on 150, I reckon there's no question of them selling him. I don't think there is. I think they would give him a season and see how he does. That's my personal opinion. But to say that he should be taking a wage cut, yeah, I don't agree, man. I definitely don't agree. 40's Life says, is it just me or has Kobbie Mainoo just disappeared? I will just transfer him or start him. Otherwise, he's going to turn into João Felix. Do you know what? 40's Life. The problem with Kobbie Mainoo has, yeah. If we're being deadly honest, yeah, Kobbie Mainoo shouldn't be starting week in, week out at Manchester United. He shouldn't. He's 19 years of age, and he's someone that if Man United were doing what they're supposed to be doing, Kobbie shouldn't be playing week in, week out. I think this club has a fascination of just trying to force through youngsters, regardless if they're good or not. Trying to force them into the first team because they're trying to keep alive this whole, having a youth player on the bench in every squad, and that bollocks, to be honest with you, needs to be eradicated, in my opinion, because you should just be playing if you're good enough. And I do think Kobbie Mainoo is good enough to be a Man United player. I do, but he's not good enough right now to be an automatic starter. And the problem that he has is that this system that the manager is hell-bent on playing, he doesn't have a position because he can't play in a 2 because, as I've mentioned previously, playing in the 2 in this 3-4-2-1, that position there requires experience. It requires legs. It requires mobility as well. All the 3 that Kobbie Mainoo doesn't have. Kobbie Mainoo does his best work in the final third where he can display his skill and his touch. But to play him in the 2 in midfield, he's not going to shine there because that's a position, as I said, which requires a lot of things that he hasn't got to his game. Now, the problem is going forwards, because Cunha's there now, that left 10, which is where Kobbie should have been playing, Cunha's the first choice there now. Yeah? And then you got the right 10, if Mbeumo comes in, his first choice. So just by default, Kobbie Mainoo isn't going to start because he shouldn't be starting in central midfield. And in the 10s, he doesn't really have a position. Where Kobbie Mainoo is going to thrive is when this manager eventually does go, because I do believe the manager's not going to be there for the long term. If a manager changes the system and plays a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, this is where Kobbie's going to figure more because Kobbie can play in the 4-3-3 as the left or the right central midfielder. And in a 4-2-3-1, he can play as the central midfielder or play as a 10. Yeah, but this 3-4-2-1 is a niche system which requires different attributes which Kobbie doesn't have. So the thing is, I hear what you're saying about him just disappearing, but that's through no fault of his own. That's the fault of the manager because the manager is hell-bent on playing this system, which is to the detriment of many players, especially Kobbie Mainoo. So I hope he doesn't turn out like João Felix because João Felix, for me, is one of the most talented players in world football still. But the way football's gone, athlete's game, football's kind of bypassing him, which is an absolute joke, you know. And look at that now. He's having to go back to Benfica to find his feet, you know. And when you're seeing players like João Felix, you know, players like Jack Grealish, players like Jadon Sancho, you know, not thriving in football today, I think you have to ask yourself the question why that is. And for me, it's very clear. You know, football now for me is never more an athlete's game as what we're seeing now. So players that have real quality, they're going to find it very tough if they're not at a team that wants to play to their strengths, getting game time, you know, and this is the problem in football now, unfortunately. But yeah, Kobbie does have a future at United, but again, it can't be 150 grand, which is what has been rumoured. For me, Kobbie Mainoo needs to be on about 80 grand, I would say. Because I think you put him on 80 grand, that keeps him hungry. It keeps him wanting to improve. And then, again, if he shows his worth, this is when he starts getting an increase on his contract. But if United put him on 150, which, again, I'll be very surprised if they do, then United ain't learnt nothing, you know. And if Kobbie doesn't want to accept that, then you move him on. You know, he won't be the last player to leave Man United. So he won't be the first, sorry, and he won't be the last. So for me, I do think he's got massive potential. But again, there's many factors as to why he's not really taken off as he should have done so far, you know. Sham says, Chelsea gave Man United 5 million, so why don't they give him a severance pay for that? But again, Sham, yeah, even if it is a severance pay, you know, United could do that, but yeah, they're trying to get him to take a wage cut. It's obvious, but as I said, man, who knows what's gonna happen? You know, if I was in charge, you know, there's no way that I'm letting Sancho go. No way, because for me, he's got a lot of quality, man, and as I keep saying, players of that quality, you know, there's no way they should be forced out of the club, man. No way. So it's not Mainoo's fault. Amrim doesn't take to him. You're right, Gav. They played him too much when he first came through, and fans hyped him up. But yeah, listen, fans hype up any player coming through the youth. This is why we've been stuck with the likes of Garnacho and a few other players. But if I look at the players that have come through recently, Kobbie Mainoo for me is the best out of them that's come through the youth. But again, he shouldn't be a regular first team player. He should be someone that is feeling his way into the team. And if he's performing, then yeah, he can start battling for a spot. But to say that he should be starting week in, week out, if Man United were doing what they should be doing, there's no way he should be starting week in, week out. No way. Big up to Collins Ogweno. Says Mbeumo is a good player. Yeah, he is. He's a very good player. And again, how old is Mbeumo? I think Mbeumo might be, is he what, 24, 25? You know, and the fact that that Brentford want 70 mil now, I'm not surprised. They wanted 60 mil, but United just pissing about. They now want 70. And to be honest with you, that's a good price for someone of his level, because he's a very good player. And as I said, Man United have only got themselves to blame, to be honest, because they've just been messing around in this whole window, you know. But yeah. But guys, let me know what you think about Yoane Wissa, because do you think Wissa should be targeted by many other clubs, or do you think Newcastle's the ideal club for him to go to? Gamer, let me know what you think as well. Obviously, you're a Newcastle fan. Do you think that that Wissa might be targeted by a few other clubs, or do you reckon he's going to definitely go to Newcastle? Yeah, as you said, Gamer, Man United just paid a 70 mil. Again, do I think United pay 70 mil up front? I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure. because yeah, I'll be surprised if they actually accept this bid. Yeah, I'll be surprised if Brentford accept this bid. You know, and I think if Brentford do accept this bid, I think, you know, I think personally, they have kind of buckled in a sense, because they should be driving a hard bargain with United and let United learn. You know, and again, as I said earlier, I don't think Mbeumo is going to kick up a fuss if he doesn't go. You know, because as I said, they've been good to him, Brentford. You know, and I think literally, if he does stay, you know, I don't think he'll be pissed off, in my opinion, because as I said, Brentford have set a fair price. You know, yeah, Tottenham have an eye on Vissa as well. Obviously Thomas Frank. I'll be very surprised as well if Thomas Frank doesn't get an ex-player at his club. Obviously, Mbuemo, that's not happening. Vissa looking like Newcastle right now. Norgard's gone to Arsenal. If we're looking right now, I mean, who have they got really? I think they're the three main players. This is the problem. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sham says, Man United fans tried to hype up Zidane Iqbal and Charlie Savage. The class of 92 is no more. Iqbal plays for FC Utrecht and Savage now plays for Reading. Academy graduate Garnacho hasn't worked out too. But yeah, listen, Sam. To be honest with you, Zidane Iqbal was a good player, you know, but again, maybe because of his physicality, United didn't trust him. Charlie Savage as well, Robbie Savage's son. I can't stand Robbie Savage personally, but his son has sank, you know. But again, from what I see of both of them, you know, I thought both of them had potential, but United obviously didn't think so. And again, as you said about Garnacho, if we look at, and the things as well, if you're someone that is from my era as well, you know, I've seen some real talent come through Man United's youth system. You know, if we forget about the class of 92, because that was an anomaly. If we look at the likes of Angel Gomez, Mason Greenwood, Paul Pogba, Ravel Morrison, you know, then you had the likes of Giuseppe Rossi, who was bought from Parma, but still played, but still obviously was playing for the reserve team. Not to mention guys like Lee Martin that was there as well, Sylvan Ebanks Blake, Chris Eagles. You know, some of you might not even know these names. You know, these guys were just tearing it up in the reserve team. You know, when I mean tearing it up, they were destroying that reserve league, because they had some serious players. Like Giuseppe Rossi was ridiculous in that league. He was too good for reserve team football. And then when it came to him stepping into the first team, he was good enough. But the problem is injuries and just competition, because you have to look at who Man United had back then. You know, they had Rooney, they had Louis Saha, you know, I think Van Nistelrooy. They had some real strikers ahead of Giuseppe Rossi. To think that Man United had Giuseppe Rossi that couldn't get regular game time at Man United, but yet people expect us to be backing the likes of Garnacho, who is nowhere near the level of a Giuseppe Rossi, is embarrassing. Ravel Morrison, as we know, Ravel Morrison had issues off the pitch. You know, Angel Gomez, the fact that Angel Gomez never came through, because again, physicality, you know, this club just looked at his stature and thought, right, you know, he's not 6 foot, he's too small, he's not going to survive here. You know, Paul Pogba, as we know, got hounded out the club. To think that, as I keep saying, Man United we have to deal with Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho, and Mason Mount. You know, it's absolutely embarrassing to see what this club's become. And as I said, yeah, when I think of those players, and now we have to see what we've got in the team now, it's poor. It is very poor, man. But again, any player coming through the youth now for Man United has to be good enough. And at this moment in time right now, the only one that is come through that I think is good enough but shouldn't be a starter is Kobbie Mainoo. You know, Garnacho's never been good enough. Never been good enough. But he's been forced upon us because United are trying to do this whole player from the youth, even though he was bought from Atletico Madrid. But they're trying to do this whole player from the youth thing, which is an absolute joke. And as I said, until that stops, United are going to keep going down the same route of getting rid of players that are good enough to try and fit in some youngsters that ultimately are not going to be good enough. So Newcastle would pay 70 mil for Mbeumo, but we don't want to pay him 250 a week. Yeah, bro, listen. United are not going to pay Mbeumo 250 a week. They won't pay him 250. I think I reckon Mbeumo will come in, if he does come in, on about 180. He'll come in on 180. I don't think he won't come in on 250. No way, because United are trying to trim the wage bill anyway. So I'm gonna say 180. He might come on. He might come to the club on. Sham says, with Iqbal, I read that he felt disrespected. He was told he was going to play a cup game. He got all his family and friends tickets for the game. And then on the day, he saw that he wasn't even chosen. To be honest with you, Sham, man, I didn't know that. But it wouldn't surprise me, put it that way. Because United just played the wrong players. And again, Zidane Iqbal's a good footballer. But this club don't like footballers. The fans don't like footballers. This country is built on passion. It's just built on passion, really. You look at Scott McTominay for arguments, for instance, yeah. Scott McTominay was never good enough, but because Scott McTominay was an athlete and had passion, they gave him a chance. And although he's doing good in Italy right now, which to be honest with you, he should do, because he's got the physicality. He was never someone that should have been a regular player or been at Man United for as long as he did. But because he's a passion merchant, fans just kept giving him chance after chance. And it's the same thing with Zidane Iqbal. Iqbal's a good football player, but this club don't like good football players, because all the good players get forced out. That's a fact. But I'm hoping under INEOS, that's all gonna change. I'm hoping. And the fact of the matter is, the players United have been linked with, and the players that's coming so far, the likes of Cunha, Mbuemo, at least we can say they're getting linked now, or bringing in better football players, which should have been the case for ages, But who knows? Still a long way to go in the window, but United need to get a move on, definitely. Big up to Yellow. Yellow says, "What's the topic, my sir?" So again, we're just talking about Mbuemo. United putting down Brentford putting down United's pants by upping the price for Bryan Mbuemo, and again other transfer talk that's happened today. But big up, man, for coming on. Big up to Broderick. Yeah, big up, man, each and every time. Guys, keep your questions coming in. Keep it coming in. We'll go for an hour tonight. But yeah, keep your questions coming in. So Gamer says 180k wage is enough. I agree. Yeah, I think 180 is enough for Mbuemo. I think if we're looking at what he's done for Brentford, how much he's going to cost as well, I think it's more than enough. 180. If United put him on more than 180, I'll be very surprised, if I'm honest, because I rate him highly, Mbuemo, but again, you don't want to be putting someone on that amount of money, because Mbuemo's got another contract in him, and if you put him on 180, that'll be a good incentive for him to try and earn 250, but if you put him on 200 or obviously 250, which ain't gonna happen, then that's a problem for me. But I think 180 definitely is fair. Big up to Big Daddy Taddy says, what transfers happened today? So there hasn't been any transfers as such. It's been a lot of bids. So Ekatike's chosen Liverpool over Newcastle. Newcastle now in for Vissa, which I did say I was surprised they didn't go in for him earlier. Man United have had Man United have bidded 65 plus 5 million add-ons for Mbuemo, as Brentford have upped the price to 70 mil now. What else has happened today? Oh yeah, Man City have got the Sven Naipan bid now complete, so he's now joined them. Again, Man City are just building for the future, man. They've got a lot of youngsters that are going to be figuring over the next couple of seasons. Lookman's subject of interest from Inter Milan, along with I think they're looking at Jadon Sancho as well. And yeah, I mean, if there's any other news, guys, make sure you put that in the chat. Big up to Great Blue, 1894 as well. So Big Daddy Taddy says, where you know these from? Are you Fabrizio Jr.? Well, I'm black, so that can't be real, Big Daddy Taddy. But no, man, it's just research. Big up Broderick. Broderick says Naipan is a baller. He is. And again, if you've seen my my next gen 50, guys, give that a check as well. My next gen 50. Obviously, Sven Naipan is one player that I done. And I think over the next 2 or 3 years, I think he's going to be a massive player for Man City. I expect him to go on loan. And I reckon he might go on loan to one of Man City's sister clubs. Girona or another team. But as I said, yeah, he's gonna be a player, man. But they've got Echeverri as well, Claudio Echeverri. Obviously Cherky's there, Oscar Bob, Savinio. If you look at their young attacking midfielders, it's scary, man. It's absolutely scary, and they're just building for the future, and expect those players, man, to be at the forefront of what Man City do going forward. Great Blue says Rodri and Schneider in midfield. Rodri and Schneider? I think you mean Reinders. Big up to Great Blue, man. I know they're from the same country, but it's not Wesley Schneider, man. It's Tijani Reinders. But Rodri and Reinders in midfield. Listen, if Rodri gets back to the level that he was at, as I said, Man City are gonna take some stopping. They will take some stopping. Yeah, big up, Sham, man. Big up, bro. Listen, if trolls come in and they're talking shit, they're not contributing to the channel, then guys, by all means, man, do your job. Just mute them. I only want people in there that are gonna contribute to the channel and give some positive comments. Otherwise, if we start letting in people that just want to just destroy the chat, then the whole conversation becomes silly. So this is a channel that I've built with you guys coming through every time, and as I said, I want to build a community where we're gonna have proper football talk. Even if you've got an opinion that that I might not agree with, or you might not agree with me, as long as it's respectful, all comments are welcome. As long as it's, as I said, respectful. I'm not asking you to agree with my opinion, but I like dialogue. And we can always debate our opinions out, and that's what it's about, guys. So big up to all the mods. Big up to Not Brett May says, what team do you support? So Man United, I support. Big up. Broderick says, Reinders was looking good at the Club World Cup. Easily City's best player. Don't know why Pep doesn't want to let go of the old guard. But you know what, Broderick, man, and big up, bro. What I would say, Reinders for me, I would have loved Reinders at Man United. The fact that Reinders went for as cheap as he did, when you actually think about it, what midfielders are going for now, it just shows you, man, that scouting and what Man City look at is the kind of players that I look at as well. Because Reinders, for me, is one of the best midfielders in the world. What I would say about Pep keeping the old guard around, you still need the old guard around in the sense of the transition. Because if you look at obviously when new players come in, you need players that have been there, that have done it, and then they can obviously help the new talent come in and obviously bed into the team. So you do need relatively older players, experienced players still to be there. But eventually these players will go. But yeah, it's nothing wrong with, there ain't nothing wrong with having the old guard there, because obviously their job is to try and help the next players bed into the team, as I said. So yeah, it is needed. But then if you've got too many of them, then again, you might need to move one or two of them on, especially if they're on a high wage. if you want to try and obviously get the wage bill in order. But yeah, no, it's good having players that are the old guard for the standards of the club as well. So yeah. Not Brett May says Wirtz will be a worse signing than Nunes. Nah, I don't agree. Big up to Brett May as well for your comment, but I'm guessing you haven't watched much of Florian Wirtz. For me, it depends what you think. Why do you? And let me ask you a question actually. Why do you think Wirtz is going to be a worse signing based on what? Because what are you expecting from Florian Wirtz? That's what I wanna. That's what I wanna know. If I can see what you're expecting from Florian Wirtz, if it's realistic or not, then we can have that debate. But why would he be a worse signing than Nunes? For a start, and they're not exact. They're not even the same players. One's a number 10, one's a striker. So yeah, I'm not quite sure why you're saying it'd be a worse signing. But let us know in the chat, and we can debate this out. Puslu Vadi says, bro, how many centimeters is your biceps? Please give a pose. How many centimeters? I don't even know, man. But yeah, I'm just how many centimeters is your biceps? I don't know. What do you reckon? Can you see that? Big up, man. So not Brett May says Wirtz will flop. Interesting. I disagree, but if he flops, then again, it's weird because I'm a massive fan of Florian Wirtz, one of my favorite players in the world right now. But if he flops, then it means Liverpool ain't doing well. So yeah, that's what I would say. So not Brett May says Nunes was meant to be the next big thing. And you know what, not Brett May, yeah? I'm glad you've come out with this. And I'll tell you why, yeah? This is what I mean, yeah? Like, this is where having experience of watching loads of football and just identifying what a player is. When you're saying Nunes was meant to be the next big thing, that's probably according to you because, again, or to many fans. But for me, I know football and I've watched so much football and I can always tell if a player's got it or he hasn't. I knew from when Liverpool first signed Nunes, because when Man United were linked with him, I was praying United didn't sign him because people looked at him in the Portuguese league and thought because he's scoring because he's getting goals, that's going to transition to the Premier League. But again, all you need to look at is the player, the makeup of the player. Nunes' biggest attributes is his movement and his relentless pressing. But his ability on the ball is poor. You know, he's very rushed on the ball, I would say. You know, doesn't really have great composure. You know, so when you're saying he's meant to be the next big thing, I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. Who is that according to? Because he was never going to be the next big thing. He's not Brock Lesnar for a start. You know, if anyone knows Brock Lesnar, WWE. But yeah, he's not Brock Lesnar. And for me, he was never going to be the next big thing. Because just look at the makeup of the player. And you can see that Arne Slot doesn't rate him. And the thing is, if Nunes had composure and had a great touch, you know, and even better understanding of the game, he would be a starter for Liverpool. But the fact of the matter is, he's got work rate, you know, he's got pace, he's got good movement. But ultimately, if you want to build a team around a striker that can link the play, he hasn't got that because he's too hit and miss. So, yeah, that's what I would say, man. Guys, just watching the Women's European Championships. Sweden smoking England 2-0. England getting smoked 2-0 by Sweden. Mad. Great Blue says Wirtz and McAllister would cook, to be honest. Yeah, listen, I think they're two technicians for me. And again, as I said, it'll be very interesting to see how they're going to line up Liverpool. You know, because if you want to fit in all of those, if you want to fit in Wirtz and McAllister, you know, into a position which they're going to thrive, you know, if Liverpool play 4-2-3-1, Gravenberch, McAllister in the midfield, Wirtz in the 10. Cool. If you want to play three at the back, where Wirtz can play from the left, but has a free role to roam, and then you've got McAllister and Gravenberch in the midfield as a 2. Cool. I think whatever way he does it, I think good footballers work it out. I think with what Liverpool have right now, I think a three at the back is crying out for them. But again, I don't expect them to go and do that, because then they need a few more defenders. But I think three at the back would make them frightening if they bring in the right defender for that position. Because again, Wirtz can play left of a free role. Salah will be closer to the goal, and get more numbers. They're going to bring in Ekatike. He'll play through the middle, And again, Ekatike and Salah can always exchange positions during the game. You got Frimpong's pace and Kirkes's pace as the wing backs, and then you've got Gravenberch, McAllister in the midfield, and then you got the defense, Van Dijk organising it, the captain in the middle of the three, Konate right side of the three, and if they bring in the left side centre back, a Lukeba, a Hato, someone of that ilk, and an Alisson in goal with Mamadashvili backing him up. As I said before, that will take some stopping, So yeah. So not Brett May says, I'm expecting him to be a midfield general. I just think the Prem will be too physically tough for him. Midfield general, bro. Florian Wirtz is not a midfield general. Like, I think what I would say, man. Again, everyone's free to their opinions, but I'm guessing you're not really. I'm guessing you're not really sure what a midfield general is, because Florian Wirtz is not a midfield general. I'll give you an example of midfield generals. Casemiro is a midfield general. I'm talking about players right now playing. So Casemiro is a midfield general. You could say Rodri is a midfield general. If I look around the league, Moises Caicedo, you could say, is a midfield general. If I look at Real Madrid, Valverde, you could say, is a midfield general as well. Barca don't really have one, but I think the closest probably would have been a Frankie de Jong, but he's not really a midfield general. Midfield generals are not really in the game no more. They were back in the old era when you had the likes of Roy Keane, Steven Gerrard, like a Michael Essien. Like, they're midfield generals. Florian Wirtz is not a midfield general. Florian Wirtz is a creative midfielder that will get numbers in terms of goals and assists, but he's not a midfield general. Never has, never will be. And again, the physicality is overstated in this Premier League for me anyway. I think, as we know, there is a lot of physicality in the league, but when you're playing for a team like Liverpool, who the majority of the time are going to dominate the ball, as I said, you don't really, like, Florian Wirtz is going to be fine because he'll be constantly on the ball and his physicality won't be showing up as much. Whereas if he was playing for a lesser team, they're not going to be on the ball as much. And again, the lesser teams will play, obviously, counter-attack, which means you need to be physically quick and physically strong for that. So, yeah, the physicality for Florian Wirtz, I don't think will be a problem. And again, he's going to Liverpool, which is a team that is, with Man City, the best team in the league right now. So he'll be fine, man. He'll be fine. And again, I'm a Man United fan, so I'm telling you that he's going to be fine. Like, he's a top player, man. Broderick says, thoughts on Barada, Wilcox and Vivell. Do you think they were promoted too quickly and they are in too deep? Pause. Big up, Broderick, man. Big up, man. I was reading that now, yeah, and as soon as I said deep, I just see the pause, yeah. But yeah, listen, for me, as I said, the way that INEOS are moving at the moment is slow. The one question mark I have against INEOS, because obviously they're all one, I do like Jason Wilcox, I think Wilcox, for me, the players that he identifies is up my street, because I think I can see that the players that he likes are some of the players that I like. So, yeah, for me, I'm happy with Wilcox. Barada, and Vivell. Obviously, we know Vivell in terms of getting the youngsters in as well. That's his job. Some of the youngsters they've brought in, the likes of Aiden Heaven, you know, I think Aiden Heaven's going to be a very good player. Chido Obi, I think Obi's got, you know, he's got good movement. You know, he's got an eye for a goal, but he's a work in progress, and for me, needs a loan. I think in terms of all three of them together, the big question mark I have against them is the Bruno Fernandes thing, because Bruno Fernandes should have been moved on. He definitely should have been moved on, and they didn't force the issue. You know, they should have taken it out of Bruno and Amarim's hands and got rid of him. So that's the one big mark I have against INEOS as a whole. The fact they brought in Ugarte as well, who I don't think is good at all. And I think he'll become a squad player if United have been serious or moved on. But yeah, they're the two marks I have against them. I think everything else, again, obviously the Mbeumo frustration as well. Yeah, those are the marks I have against them, guys. But I do believe they will be getting it right. So I think let's just remain cautious, because I do think from what I've seen so far, I'm not too dissatisfied. But the length at how long the deals are taking is frustrating. The Bruno Fernandes for me is a massive one, because if you sell Bruno Fernandes, the Mbeumo deal for me is done already, and you could be working on other areas of the team. So yeah, but big up, Broderick, man. Big up, bro. Big up to Yaya Yakub as well. Not Brett May says, how many goals will Gyökeres score this season? Not according to Nunes price tag. Well, Arsenal create chances. So if we're looking at the top scorers in the league, we're looking at Salah, we're looking at Haaland, Isak. I think those three will definitely be up there again, you would think. And I think Salah got top goal scorer this season. How many did he get? Did he get about 26 or 28 league goals or something? I'm not too sure. If anyone knows how many league goals Salah got, guys, again, if anyone knows the top 5 scorers or top 3 scorers in the league, if you put that in the chat and we can see how much they got. I think Gyökeres, I think Arsenal will be expecting Gyökeres to at least get 20 league goals this season. I think if he gets 20 league goals, I think he'll have that'll be a decent season. Because again, Arsenal do create chances. And I think 20 league goals for someone coming into the league for his first season, you know, and what he's been doing previously in Portugal, I don't think 20 league goals is too much to ask for. So I'm going to say, I'm not sure how much goals he will score, but I would say 20 league goals is a minimum for him this season, I would say, you know. So Nunes was brought in to lead Liverpool's attack, and he flopped. But again, it's no surprising that he did flop, because he hasn't got the fundamentals. He's got very good movement, you know, and he's got very good endeavour, but he's got no composure, no link play. So these things are always going to be against him, you know. But again, Arne Slot, you can tell, doesn't really rate him highly either. So it is what it is. Gamer says there's more chance of Ekitike being a flop. If anything, Wirtz looks solid to me. Yeah, listen, Wirtz is not going to flop for me, man. There's no way Wirtz flops. Again, let us know, not Brett May, what you deem as someone flopping. Because if you're expecting Wirtz to get 30 goals and 30 assists, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen. But Wirtz will get his fair share, put it that way. And not just that, he'll make Liverpool a better team because he's just got pure quality. So that's what I would say. Big up to Pro Irish Speed as well. So not Brett May says, why has no top 6 team not interested in Mitoma at Brighton? You know what it is? Because I think Mitoma is suited to Brighton. I think if Mitoma was to move elsewhere, I don't know if he has the same kind of impact at another club that he has at Brighton. I think Brighton are very organised. You know, Brighton are they played very good football, and I think Matoma fits into it. But it could be a fact. It could be a case where certain players fit certain teams. And again, what teams realistically could Matoma go to? You know, because if we're looking at teams that are better than Brighton, Man City, no. Although I think if he was at Man City, he could cause problems. I look at them having Doku. Matoma could cause a similar threat. The difference is Doku has physicality, you know, whereas Matoma, you know, it has got pace, but the strength might be found wanting a little bit, you know. But Man City, I would probably say no. Liverpool, possibly, but I don't think Liverpool will be looking at someone like him. Chelsea, again, I think a lot of it is touch and go. You know, I don't think there's a team where we can say that Matoma just goes in straight away and yes, he's a definite starter. You know, I wouldn't say that that is the case. Although I do think he's a good player, but I think yeah, I don't think those teams will be looking at a Matoma. You know, I think a Tottenham. I reckon Tottenham, he could be a good choice. And I'm surprised Tottenham haven't really gone in for him, you know, thinking that they've got, I don't think he's a compatriot, but obviously from Asia, Son Heung-min. I think Son's South Korean and Matoma's, I think, is Japanese. But, you know, I'm surprised because they had a place on that left-hand side for, you know, some pace and something a bit different. I'm surprised they didn't go for a Matoma. But I do think he's a good player, but I think for what he's going to cost, because let's not forget as well, Saudi coming with a bid for him for a lot of money, which was turned down. So, yeah, who knows, man? Who knows what they're thinking? Bilal Tassin says Osman. I don't know what that means, but I don't know if you're still in the chat. Let us know what that means. I think Spurs will go one better and finish 16th. No, I don't think so. Chrism Ark says, evening all, repeatedly hit them emoji guys and it helps the digital algorithm to direct others here. Yeah, big up Chrism Ark, man. Big up. Guys, as I said, if you guys are enjoying the stream, sub to the channel, smash the like button. We've got 19 likes at the moment. Again, it's free content, you know, and big up yourselves for coming through, as always. So, not Brett May says, could Arsenal win the league in your opinion? No, not for me. Not for me. I've touched on this before. The fact that Arsenal will finish second 3 times in a row, and their answer to overcoming that, because let's make it obvious. Let's be honest, guys. Yeah, Arsenal have to either win a league or win a Champions League for the amount of money that's been spent on the squad and for where they're finished. And for them to bring in, as I keep saying, Noni Madueke is poor business for me. Is poor because Noni Madueke doesn't take them to competing with City and Liverpool. You know, Zubimendi, I think, is a very good footballer, but does Zubimendi take them to competing with Liverpool and City? He'll make them a better footballing team, but the physicality that they've lost with Thomas Partey, how's he going to handle that? Mosquera, I'm not going to mention him really because he's a squad player. And then you're thinking of Gyökeres that will come in and will add to their goal tally, you would think. But what do they do with Kai Havertz? This is the problem. So, for me, I don't see Arsenal putting pressure on City or Liverpool for what they've done so far in the window. Although things could change, you know, but at this moment in time, they don't win the league, you know. And if anything, I see them finishing outside the top 4. You know, the way it stands, the way it seems right now. I think if Newcastle get Vissa through the door, because let's face it, Newcastle finished. Did they finish? I think they finished 4th. Was it 3rd or 4th? You know, and to be honest with you, there were some games there that they should have won. So I'm looking at Newcastle. If they get Vissa, you know, that improves them because they can now rest Isak. You know, and then Vissa, you know, will get goals. He's proven in the league. So I think Arsenal could falter as low as 4th or 5th this season. Because Chelsea, I think, will be a threat and they're going to spend some money. Newcastle already touched on, and the top 2. I see that being the top two. So not Brett May says he supports Rangers. Big up, man. Big up. I'll tell you what, Rangers got what's that striker? Cyril Dessers. I think he's quite decent, to be fair. Cyril Dessers. He's quite a decent striker. But I think Celtic probably win the league again. You know, although I think they're losing a couple of players from what I heard. Big up to Ennis there. Yeah, big up, bro. Big up for coming through. Guys, come on, there's 21 of you in there. Let's make sure we sub to the channel and smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Chris and Mark says, personally, I think if Vert's got a dozen assists and half a dozen goals, will be a massive debut season. Yeah, listen, I expect Florian Wirtz with his quality to get double figures in goals and assists. I think to get 10 goals and 10 assists isn't too much to ask for a player of his quality. And he's done it in Germany, and I see no reason why he can't do that in the Premiership. So for me, if he gets 10 goals, 10 assists as a minimum, you know, I think that's more than enough. Although I think he'll probably get, you know, a bit more than that, I reckon, for his debut season. Because, as we know, Liverpool do create chances, and against most teams, they're going to have the majority of the ball. So, and he's a creative machine. So, yeah, I think debut season, half a dozen goals and assists, double figures, yeah, more than enough for me, 100%. Big up, man. Big up to Ammo for coming back through as well. Big up, Ammo. Yeah, big up to Great Blue as well for subbing. Guys, make sure you sub to the channel if you haven't done so already. As I said, smash the like button. It'll be much appreciated. We've got 24 likes on there. Let's try and at least hit 30, guys. That's the target. So Messy Mouth Entertainment says, not really. Højlund was a ripoff. Messy Mouth, let me know what you mean by that. Are you talking about the fact that Brentford are pulling down United's pants? Because if you're talking about Rasmus Højlund, I'm here for that chat, man. So let me know what you mean, because we can go into that Rasmus Højlund chat. I have no problem. Ammo says, what have you been up to? What have United been up to, Gav? Bro, the answer is not much. Not much. They've obviously put in a bid for Mbeumo, an improved bid of 65 mil plus 5 mil in add-ons, which again Brentford haven't rejected yet. Brentford now wants 70 mil. So this is what I said before. I said the longer United piss around, why don't Brentford just up the money? Because they'll be looking around, seeing what other players are going for, knowing that Mbeumo is better or as good as all of them that have gone. And the fact that United are just trying to rip them off, why don't they just up the price? Because they don't have to sell, really. And I don't believe that Mbeumo is gonna be too unhappy. So for me, I did say, you know, I can see them up in the price. And now they've upped the price, and United have offered 65 mil plus 5 million add-ons, which is ironic because 60 mil plus 5 add-ons would have got them Mbeumo in the first instance. So United are just playing silly games, and I think that Brentford might just mess around with them now, because as I said earlier, Brentford have gone in for Amari Hutchinson and had a 35 mil bid turned down. So if Brentford agree a fee with Man United before they've agreed a fee with Hutchinson, you know, Ipswich might just turn around and say, well, we know you've got money, so we now want 50 mil for Hutchinson. Although he's not worth 50 mil, but they'll say that knowing that Brentford have got the money. So it'll be very, very interesting to see if they accept the bid from Man United before the Hutchinson deal gets over the line. Because and again, it's gonna drag. It's gonna drag because this is only Man United's fault. So yeah, bro, that's what's been happening, man. United just playing silly buggers, really, and offering a fee that they should have offered about 6 weeks ago. So yeah, it's annoying, man. It's annoying. Chris and Mark says Arsenal need another 2 marquee players and another 3 first team and sub bench, but most of all, Arsenal need to know how to rotate players. Arteta is clueless. Love it. Yeah, bro, I can't disagree, man. As I keep saying, man, that manager Arteta should have been sacked 3 seasons ago. 3 seasons ago. And if Arsenal did get 2 marquee signings, and I'm talking about the likes of a Rodrigo, and I mean, I'm not gonna say that Gyökeres is a marquee signing. He's far from it. But a marquee signing is, as I said, Rodrigo, and then if we're looking at, but again, I think they can only get 1 marquee signing in 1 position, because I don't think they're gonna get a number 10, but they've got a space, you know, at left wing for that marquee signing, because their defense is set. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Lewis Skelly, Zubamendi, Rice, Odegaard, you believe, Saka, and then if Gyökeres comes in, and then a left winger, obviously Madueke's come through as well, so you'd think he'll start. But if they was to get 2 marquee signings, then I'll go as far as say, you know, that might put them in competing with City and Liverpool. And again, they have to win a league title or a Champions League for me this season. No excuses. Yeah, no excuses. But who knows, man? Who knows? Not Brett May says, well, will United finish? Right now, again, I can't really answer this because I don't believe in this manager. I don't. The manager's very lucky to still be here. And just based on that, I can only look at the first 5 games of the season. That's where I'm going to focus my energy. The first 5 games of the season. And if he doesn't get positive results in the first 5 games of the season, he needs to be out. So that's where I'm going to focus my energy on, the first 5 games of the season. And if he is still here and United do happen to keep him beyond the 5 games, I'll give you a bit more of a prediction on where I think United finish, because I just don't rate this manager. You know, yeah. Newcastle interested in Nicolas Sivona from Juventus. Is that Nick? I think I said it today. Sivona. I've not really seen much of him, to be honest with you. If anyone knows more about Nicolas Sivona, let us know, man. Big up to DXR. Big up DXR, bro, for coming through. Guys, come on, let's try and hit 30 likes. We've got 24 at the moment, 6 short. If you're in there and you just come through and you enjoy the content, smash the like button. Or if you haven't smashed it yet, just make sure you smash the like button. And again, make sure you sub to the channel, guys. Big up yourselves. Big up to Lewis Jackson as well. Nah, listen, DXR, bro, no worries, man. The main thing is that you're coming through. So that's all that matters, man. Big up yourself. Ennis there says, is it interesting that Brentford asking price before July was 60 million, but now it's 70, and reports said that they will want the 60 million, but restructured in another way, but now they bid 65 for Mbuemo. Yeah, big up to Ennis there, man. Listen, Ennis there, we touched on this earlier. Man United are just pissing about, and the problem is now United have shown that they could have offered that money in the first place. But from what I've heard today, because Newcastle now won Visa, United are now panicking, because I don't know if Newcastle sell both of them in the same window if they don't get the right money. I think if they get the right money for both of them, then I can see it happening. But I think United have probably panicked, thinking, you know, Visa might go, which means Brentford might be more inclined to keep Mbuemo. It's now backfired, because United now have to get 70 million, whereas before it was 60 mil. And I did say, if United keep messing around, why wouldn't Brentford just up the money? Why wouldn't they? You know, because I think any normal person would look at it and think they're being messed around here, and just up the bid. So whether United get this deal accepted, I don't know. You know, but yeah, big up, bro, man. But yeah, Man United playing silly buggers, man. 60 mil it was, now it's 70. And again, I think United might need to offer 70 mil up front. I'll be very surprised if they accept 65 plus 5. You know, I'll be very surprised, but who knows? Who knows? Big up to Niche Fan says, INEOS are more concerned about people using too much bog roll at Carrington than signing Mbuemo. It's a complete joke. Yeah, man. Listen, I agree. It is a complete joke. But again, INEOS for me, I'm not gonna get too much on their back. I mean, this transfer window so far has been a joke. It's been boring. But for the players that United have been linked with, you know, I'm not too dissatisfied. But the fact that this Mbuemo deal has taken longer than expected, and it still isn't over the line, again, that's another mark against their name, along with keeping Bruno Fernandes as well. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. But big up for coming on. Yeah, Chrism Ark, I agree with that. Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, top three. Arsenal, Spurs, Newcastle fight out for the 3rd to 6th spots. Yeah, listen, I'll go along with that as well. If Man United get their act together, one game a week, who knows? Could they gate crash that? I don't think under this manager, but anything's possible. Yeah, big up Niche fan, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, come on, let's get 30 likes. 25 likes at the moment. We need 5 more. Big up to all the mods as well, man. Big up. 30 was a target. Mansfield always moving forward, and today we are looking for 50 likes, people. Yeah, listen. If we can hit 50 likes before we wrap, then even better. But I'm looking at 30 as a target at the moment. We've got 25, so we need 5 more. So again, if you haven't smashed that like, guys, and you enjoy the content, make sure you smash the like. 4 more. Big up. So, do you know what? I'm just reading something now, and I'm in shock. So Ennis there says, I don't really rate Florian. I think Cherky will get more goals and assists than Wirtz, but time will tell though. And do you think Cunha will strive in this 3-4-3 system? Ennis there, bro. You always come with the good chats. Big up yourself. This one, I'm shocked though. That you don't rate Florian Wirtz. For me, I think Florian Wirtz at this moment in time is the best number 10 in Europe for me. Cherky, I'm a massive fan of as well. I think when you're saying Cherky might get more goals and assists, the reason I'm not too sure, and I'll tell you why. Florian Wirtz is going to come in and start straight away because he's the only real creator. I think him and McAllister from a central position are the 2 real creators in Liverpool's team. And obviously, when you're getting bought for that amount of money as well, you can't have someone that's broken the British transfer record be on the bench. So he's going to get more game time than Cherky for me because of that. To say you don't rate him, again, everyone's free to their opinion. I'm surprised because I think he's a top player. On Ryan Cherky, I'm a massive fan of Cherky, but I don't think Cherky plays as much as what people expect. And not because Cherky isn't good enough, it's because Man City have so many attacking midfielders, and they've got loads of attacking midfielders for 3 positions. You think of the likes of the captain now, Bernardo Silva. He's going to play. Whether he plays in midfield alongside Rodri or Reinders, or plays as one of the wide players or in the 10. Again, you've got to contend with that. Then you've got Marmoush, who can play in the 10 or play from the left or as a striker. Then you've got Foden, same, number 10 or from the right. Then you've got Savinho, who can play both sides. Oscar Bob might get more game time as well. I think McAtee will be moved on. And then you've got Doku as well. And then Grealish, I'm not going to mention because I think Grealish will go. But you've got possibly 5 or 6 players that are all attacking midfielders. So I don't know if Cherky will get the game time for him to realise that. But for sure, he's gonna definitely improve Man City in the years to come. And you've asked about the 3-4-3 system. For me, bro, and a lot of my chat probably know this anyway. I don't like the 3 at the back system really. You know, I don't mind it. I don't mind the 3 at the back, and there's certain teams that are more suited to 3 at the back. But for me, I'm more of a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. I'd much prefer to see that formation. And if Cunha plays in a 4-3-2, a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, again, there's options where he can play. He can play as a in a 4-3-3. He can play from the left or play as a 9. In the 4-2-3-1, he can play as a 10 or play from the left or play as a 9. So yeah, there's plenty of places where he can play in that position. If he plays in a 3-4-3 system, again, there's only one place he's going to play, and that's from the left. Or he can play as a 9 if need be. You know, so I'm not a massive fan of the 3 at the back. You know, I much prefer the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1. But Cunha for me can thrive in any system really, whether it's a 3 at the back or 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Great Blue says, I hope City signs a better right back because we don't really have a general right back at the moment. Yeah, I agree. You know, I think it's no secret that they need another right back. Obviously, they want Livramento, but Livramento's going to cost too much money, and Newcastle won't want to sell him. Again, they were linked with forgot the guy's name in Italy, from Juventus. Forgot his name. They were linked with him as well. Again, Matthias Nunes has been playing there. I think Rico Lewis has declined a bit. I don't know if Pep trusts Rico Lewis for the long term. But Nunes, to be fair, is a central midfield player. But the way that Man City play, again, he plays with midfielders at fullback. And again, I forgot about another player, Nico O'Reilly. He's a very good player. But how does he figure into this team? Because Nico O'Reilly is actually a number 10, but can play left back as well. So he's another player that's going to be in the squad. So yeah, Man City have got so many players, man, that they need to figure into this team. But they definitely need to get a right back. Whether, I think Livramento, they would like Livramento, but I don't know if there's anyone else they've been linked to. You know, it's a shame that João Cancelo, you know, didn't work out, because Cancelo is a very good player. But again, he's in Saudi now, and obviously fell out of Pep. So whether City go for another right back, I'm not too sure. Rodrigo and a centre back minimum will be needed if Saliba leaves for Real next season. Yeah, I keep hearing this. I keep hearing Saliba or Konate to Real Madrid. You know, I think Saliba should go to PSG. If I'm honest, he's French. You know, PSG needs someone to eventually replace Marquinhos, and I think if Saliba was to go to PSG, I think that makes them even better than what they are now. Because although Marquinhos has the leadership, I think Saliba has the pace, the recovery pace. You know, he's physically strong as well. So yeah, I think he might even take PSG on a level, if I'm honest, you know. Guys, come on, we've got 27 likes. Let's try and hit 30 as well. We need 3 more likes, man. But big up yourselves for coming on. Big up to Bello Figogu. Says you are very strong. Yeah, big up, man. Thank you. I do try my best, but yeah, big up. Big up to Dark Blade as well. 77 says, what team do you support? Man United. Yeah, Man United supporter. So Arsenal need Isak, but Liverpool have made sure Isak will not be sold cheaply. I think you mean Newcastle made sure that he wouldn't be sold cheaply. Yeah, listen, as you said yesterday, Isak's not going anywhere for me. He's not going anywhere. He's going to cost too much money to start with. And Newcastle, and obviously now Liverpool are going for Ekatike. So that's them out of the running for Isak. And again, I think if Isak moves, he's going to go abroad. I can see Isak at Barcelona, because Barcelona needs someone to eventually replace Lewandowski. And if you look at Isak's profile, he can fit into Barcelona's team easily with the way they play. So don't be surprised if Isak, if he was to move, if he doesn't go to a Barcelona. I can see that happening, definitely. You know, but whether that happens next season, I'm not too sure. But I think if he does move, I don't see him moving to another Premier League team. I think it'll be abroad, and it'll be one of the big teams. I'm looking at Barca, Real Madrid, or Bayern Munich, maybe PSG. So I think one of them 4 teams, I think, could be Isak's next destination. Not the Premier League for me. Big up to Daniela Iacona as well. Big up for coming on. Guys, come on, smash the like button if you haven't done so. 27 likes. Let's try and hit 30. So, Chrismar says, create a few polls for people to answer, bro, as the more interactive people are, equals more human traffic. Yeah, bro, I hear it, man. I was doing a few polls before, but for some reason, the system's not letting me do any polls no more. So I'm not quite sure why that is. But yeah, no, definitely, I like doing the polls. I've done one actually previously with who will be the key player for Germany national team, Wirtz or Musiala, and I think Musiala actually got more votes. So, but yeah, no, big up, man, Chris and Mark. As I said, I'm gonna try and get the votes back on, but for some reason, it's not allowing me to do any polls anymore for some reason. So, but yeah, no, for sure, man, I'll try and get that sorted out, man. But big up yourself. Big up to Rupert Mangion as well. What do you think about double Cunha and Mbuemo? So, yeah, listen, Man United, for this system that they're playing right now, or just in general, they desperately need Cunha and Mbuemo because, as I said, if you get Cunha and Mbuemo in, the necessity for a central striker isn't really there because Joshua Zirkzee there. And again, Joshua Zirkzee can facilitate the attack when you've got two wide forwards in Mbuemo and Cunha that will get goals. So this is why it's an essential signing of Mbuemo. But the fact that United are just pissing about, taking too long, is frustrating. Guys, big up, man. We've hit 30 likes. Big up yourselves as well. So, yeah, that's what I would say about Cunha and Mbuemo. For me, they're two key signings, and they're obviously the top two targets for United as well. But for me, I just want two midfielders now. I want United to go out for Carlos Baleba. Baleba, I'm going to keep saying, should be made the key target in midfield. You know, the fact that there's no links to Baleba is mad because he'll suit Man United for so many different reasons. But once this Mbuemo deal hopefully gets over the line, I want to see who United are looking at next. That'll be the main thing because, again, there's been no other links to any other players. So, Enes there says, Erik Ten Hag won a trophy without any European football. So if they don't win any trophy, will you then question Amorim? Bro, I'm questioning Amorim right now. I don't want the guy at the club. I've made no secret of that. For me, Amorim should have been sacked at the end of the season because I've never seen United perform as badly as this. Even under Erik Ten Hag, it wasn't this bad. And people are going to keep pointing towards he didn't have his players, etc. But he didn't do a good job with the players he had. And there's so many mistakes this manager was doing. Like, I'm not even sure where to start. So I'm questioning Amorim right now. I haven't been questioning him recently. I've been questioning his appointment ever since midway through the season because it's been poor. So, and the thing what I would say is that I was desperate to get Erik Ten Hag out of the club. To think that Erik Ten Hag has done a better job than Amorim, I never thought I'd be saying that, and that's what's actually happened. So, yeah, man. So that's right. Loving the interactive stance in every light shows us all how much you appreciate it. Yeah, big up Chris and Mark, man. Appreciate it each and every time, man. Listen, you guys make the channel as well, man. So the fact that you guys come in, you interact with the chat, you know, you keep it respectful, and you're obviously supporting the channel. That's all I can ask for, man. So you guys keep the channel going as well, man. So big up yourselves. Big up to Rager86 says, Jesus, this dude's built like a SAS. Yeah, big up, man. Big up. Listen, I think the camera does make you look slightly bigger, man. So, but yeah, like, listen, you put the work in, you get the results, man. And again, gym is my life, man. So, again, man, yeah, just have to keep putting the work in, man. That's all it is. Keep showing up, just like the channel. Keep showing up. So Chris and Mark says, why hasn't Eric bought any of the players he signed for Man United? Bro, because he done us over. That's why. I mean, the fact that Mason Mount was signed for 55 mil, reaching to 60, and was put on 250, questions have to be asked. serious questions have to be asked, because that was just ridiculous for that to happen. Yeah, that's just ridiculous for that to happen. But obviously, there's links that Ten Hag wants Garnacho, Mount, Hoyland, Garnacho, Anthony. There's links that he wants them players, but again, there can be links and then there can be bids, and no bids have come in. So yeah, but Ten Hag done us over, man. That's what I will say. But I just like the fact that INEOS look like they're not signing managers for the players for the manager. They're signing players for the club. So it's a good sign, put it that way. Big up to AB Pock, says nice tattoo. Yeah, big up, man. Big up for that. I'm actually getting some more done quite soon, actually, funny enough. So I don't know if you guys can see the gap there. I'm going to get that gap done very soon, you know, and obviously going to try and get this bit done as well. So yeah, man. The funny thing is, when I first got a tattoo, I was like, yeah, I'm only going to get one. And then 1 turns into 2, 2 turns into 3, 3 turns into 10, 10 to 20. So yeah, man, it's just addictive. But yeah, I do like tattoos, man. I do. But yeah, got a few more to get still. But big up to Football Sheets as well. Guys, come on, smash the like button. We got 31 likes. Again, if you're in it and you're enjoying the content, it's free content. Just smash the like button, guys. Big up. So AB Pock says, I'm French. My last name's French, actually, funny enough. But I'm not going to tell you what it is. I don't want you guys trying to search me up. But my last name's French. I don't know if you know a country called Guadeloupe. That's where my last name comes from. I don't understand when you speak, but I like your tattoo. Sorry for my bad English. Bro, you can't speak English, but you're typing good English here. So big up yourself. Big up to Sankaze Mahandas. Good physique, bro. Impressed. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's just hard work, man. Hard work in the gym. And that's all it is. Big up to Raji's Vlog. Says, what's your favourite team? Do you think Lamine Yamal is good? Bro, my favourite team is Man United and Barcelona. Do I think Lamine Yamal is good? I think you're downplaying Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal is a generational talent. And for me, he's the best player in the world right now. The fact that he's got the number 10 shirt, which I'm very happy, following in the footsteps of Ronaldinho, Messi, you know. Obviously Ansu Fati's moved on loan to Monaco. So Yamal's got the 10. To be 17 years of age and be a key player for your club and country, it's unheard of and shouldn't be happening if you're that age. Because at that age, you should be coming on for brief appearances at 17. But he was a key player for club and country at 16. So to say, do you think Lamine Yamal is a good player? No, Lamine Yamal's special. He's a generational talent and he's only going to get better. So, as I said, man, what a player. And he's someone that is genuinely keeping football alive right now. Because football now, for me, has become a system game. You know, it's very heavily reliant on athletes. But to think that, you know, you've got the likes of Lamine Yamal and a few other players. You know, a massive fan of Rodrigo as well. These guys are keeping football alive, you know, and long may it continue. Yeah, bro, listen. If Troll's going to come in, you guys just do your job, man. If they're coming in with some positive talk, then by all means, man, keep them in. But if they're going to come on there on a negative tip and just talk shit, then as I said, you guys do what you got to do. No problem. But big up to Bob Schuster, German. I'm guessing you're German, Bob. Are you still in the chat, Bob, if you're there? German. The reason I know it's German is because Real Madrid, if anyone remembers, had an ex-manager called Bernd Schuster. So that name rings a bell, man. So yeah, but big up, man, for coming through. Chris Mark says, nah, bro, Liverpool's fake interest in Isak has driven up the price, I believe. You know what? That's not a bad take. I actually think it's not fake interest. I think that they actually genuinely did want Isak. But I think anyone knows, if you watch football, you'll know that Newcastle were never going to sell Isak to a Premier League rival for a massive fee. And You know, I think Newcastle haven't bid for Isak, but the fact that Liverpool, sorry, haven't bid for Isak, but the fact that Newcastle was saying he's not for sale, you know, there's no room really to manoeuvre. I think what would have showed good intent is if Liverpool would have put down 120 and given Newcastle something to think about. Because who would have known? Isak might have been agitated for the move, knowing that 120 is coming for him. Newcastle could have thought about it. But I think the fact that there was no bid coming, you know, and obviously they've now gone for Ekatike, you know, I think it's one of them things where, yeah, it's obvious, really, that they wanted him. But it was never going to happen, realistically, in my opinion. Because, yeah, he's one of the best strikers in Europe. Newcastle are in Champions League as well. And most importantly, they don't really have to sell. So, yeah. Big up to Sharon Goodwin. Big up Sharon for coming back on again. Big up yourself, Sharon. Big up to Leanne Cutter as well. Each and every time. Big up, Leanne. Guys, come on, smash the like button as well. Make sure you smash the like button. Sham says, Chrism, it's not fake interest for Isak. Isak would want to come to us, but he's being respectful, being a fan favourite. Yeah, listen, it's a difficult deal to do. Again, the fans love him. The fans absolutely love Isak. And again, there's so many things in his favour at Newcastle. Why would he want to leave? You know, and again, this new contract, I'm just waiting to see what happens there. So, yeah. Big up to JT. Said, bro's got good football knowledge. Yeah, big up, man. Again, my knowledge comes from playing, from coaching, and just from watching football throughout the years, man. So there isn't. I'll have to be honest with you. There isn't much. I don't think there's nothing that I don't know about football, and that's not being big-headed. That's just because I'm just so invested in football, and I have been from a little boy. So there isn't much things that I wouldn't know about football, realistically. You know. So yeah, keep your questions coming. So we're gonna go for another 10 minutes. Well, what I do, I'll get through all your questions, because obviously you guys are taking the time out to come through, and then yeah, we'll wrap after that. Big up to Ashley Fernandez. Fernandez, I didn't think I'll hear that name in my chat, but big up Ashley. I'm guessing you're Portuguese, Brazilian, Spanish. Says, you're right at the end. You're giving what they want. So why did United waste the time and rather pay them 70 early? Big up, Ashley. It's because United are not serious. And they try to lowball Brentford because United still think that they're the big dogs in the yard. You know, they still think that they can go and bully. They obviously think that they can go and bully Brentford. And to be honest with you, Brentford has stood firm, and they've shown United that, you know, we don't really need to sell, and unless you give us the money that's required, then we're not gonna budge. And the fact that they've upped the price now, well done to Brentford, because as a Man United fan, I'm pissed off that it's been upped, but I can't actually blame Brentford because Brentford let United know early what the price should have been, and United just been pissing about. So it is what it is. Sham says, I'm waiting for Leanne to send the heart eyes to Gav. Listen, yeah, I think it was yesterday she actually done that. So yeah, who knows, man? I'll put money on her doing it again. Maybe not, but yeah, I can see why she would, put it that way. But big up, man. JT says, Baleba would be really good. It's just Brighton are going to want a lot of money like Caicedo. Yeah, big up, JT. Bro, I agree. And for me, for so many reasons, as I've mentioned before, Baleba fits Man United like a glove, because not only is Baleba press resistant, he's tenacious in the tackle as well. He's box to box. He's young at 21 years of age. But what stands out to me, why he's important, is because that midfield needs balance. And the fact that he's left-footed, since Fred, Man United haven't had a central midfielder that is left-footed to add the balance. So there's so many reasons why he ticks so many boxes. Again, Brighton are going to want money for Baleba. Baleba's going to be the next big signing. If he doesn't move to United, he's going to move to one of the big teams in England or abroad. But until I see a bid come in, I'm not going to say that Brighton are going to want mad money, because if a club wants a player, at least test the waters. And for me, if United put a bid in, let's say of, I don't know, 70 mil, and Brighton turn it down, fair enough. At least they've shown intent. But United haven't shown no intent to go for Baleba, which is frustrating, because he'll be transformative for me in this midfield. So the fact that United haven't even put a bid in, again, is frustrating. But all we can hope really is once the Mbeumo deal gets done, hopefully United go in for a player like him, because I think he changes United's midfield if he goes in. If you get an Mbuemo and a Cunha and get a Baleba as well, I think that's been a great window for United. So I just want United just to show some intent, you know. And if they put a bid in and Brighton wants silly money, then fair enough. Like, I'd expect United to walk away, but that hasn't happened yet, which is annoying. Yeah, big up, brother Rip, man. Big up to Marlon Campbell, Jamaican brother in the house. Well, I'll say brother. I'm not Jamaican. I'm from Caribbean though. But big up, man. So Sharon says, do you think Forest signing Igor Jesus was a good idea? I mean, Nottingham Forest need reinforcements, obviously, after losing Elanga and looking like Gibbs White as well. I mean, you need cover for Chris Wood. I mean, what's going to happen to Taiwo Awoniyi? I know he suffered that serious injury towards the end of the season. I mean, is he going to be moved on? You know? But yeah, I mean, Forest needs signings, you know what I mean? I do see Forest dropping because, as I said, you've lost creators and goals in that team. But as I said yesterday, if they can get a top 10 finish, then that's been a great season for Nottingham Forest, you know, because I think this league this season is going to be very competitive. So, but yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I think definitely the sign of Igor Jesus, I mean, I haven't seen much of him, but, you know, I'm pretty sure Nuno's going to know what he's doing with that one. But yeah. Sham says, putting a troll on the side, get people either dropping a comment about football or about Gav's armour. Big up to Dean Smith. Says, can you please wear your Man United shirt backwards? Well, I'm not wearing a Man United shirt, so I don't know what you're talking about, but big up for coming through anyway. Big up to Daniel Ulian from Romania. Yeah, big up, man. Big up. Make sure you smash the like, guys, if you just come through, and sub to the channel. Big up to Lightning as well. So Chris Mark says, Arsenal fans think Isak is the rebirth of Henry. Yeah, but listen, Arsenal fans think Declan Rice is better than Moises Caicedo. So that's all you got. That's all you got to look at for that. You know, Arsenal fans are deluded. That's all we need to know. You know, Arsenal fans will probably tell you that Bukayo Saka is better than Lamine Yamal. So yeah, take with a pinch of salt what Arsenal fans think, man. I don't take them seriously. The fact that Arteta's still there, you can't do. There's only a few fans that I see, Arsenal fans, real Arsenal fans, that uphold the standards for the club, because Arteta should have been gone a long time ago. Man United are not going for any defenders. Is that surprising? And I think Bremer and Hincapié are good players United should be looking at, but they aren't, and I'm honestly detaching. Yeah, Hincapié plays for Bayer Leverkusen, left-sided centre-back or left-back. Again, there's been no links to him. I don't see United going for him. You know, Aiden Heaven for me. I think he's gonna be someone that figures a lot more often. If I'm honest, I want Lisandro to be moved on, and I want United to bring in another left side centre back. I want a left sided centre back, someone that's got pace in the wide areas. Because if you've got that, then when they transition to a 4 at the back and they play centre back, you've got someone that is used to playing in that position and can fill out the wide areas, because that's what you need in the 3 at the back. But Bremer at Juventus, yeah, I mean, I'm not too fast with the defense at the moment. I think the midfield is important, and getting in Mbeumo as well. So for me, midfield is important, because if you look at United's midfield now, you've got Casemiro. Again, he's going to be gone next season. Ugate's not good enough. Bruno shouldn't be here. Kobbie Mainoo can't play in the 2. And Collier is just a squad player. And is he going to be good enough? So United have major problems in that part of the pitch. So this is why 2 midfielders for me is essential. You know, and Baleba for me needs to be the man that they go for. You know. Sharon says, what place do you think Forest will finish this season? So we done this yesterday. I think top 8. I don't think Forest get into the top 8. I'm gonna say Forest 10th. I think between 10th and 12th. I see Forest 10th and 12th. I think they might finish. And to be fair, it's not a bad season. To be honest with you, it's not a bad season because, as I said, this league's gonna be very competitive. Very competitive. Yeah, Chris and Mark, man, big up for coming on. Yeah, listen, guys, make sure you smash your notifications on as well to see when I go live. Obviously, I'll always schedule a stream, but if you put a notification on, you can see when I'm going to go live. So, yeah, big up yourself. But big up Chris and Mark, man, for some sick questions as well, each and every time. Yeah, Sharon says, I agree. Guys losing Elanga and potentially Gibbs White will damage us brutally. Yeah, listen, that's what I'm saying. I think between 12th and 10th, I think you would have had a good season, you know, because I think last season for Forest, I'm gonna say is a bit of a freak season. You know, they were going for Champions League at one point. Obviously now they're in the Europa League. You know, they're gonna have more games. But I think between 10th and 12th, I think you'll have a good season if that happens. Who do I predict will get relegated? I think the 3 teams coming up, although Sunderland, to be fair, they've made a lot of signings, so they're showing intent to try and stay in the league. But I'm going to stick with what I'm saying. I think the 3 teams that have come up, I won't be surprised if they go straight back down because the gap between the Premier League teams and teams coming up from the Championship is just getting even bigger. So, yeah, as I said, I'll be very surprised if them 3 teams don't go down. But I think Sunderland, more than the other teams, more than Leeds and Burnley, I think they're showing real intent. They're showing some real intent to stay in the league. But yeah, I think it might be a bit too much, if I'm honest. So Sunderland signing players, but they lost their main player, Bellingham. Yeah, whether Bellingham was their main player or not, I'm not too sure. But they've got money from him, and they're making signings. But I like Chris Rigg, the youngster at Sunderland. I think he's only 17. I like him. He looks very good. Obviously, he was linked to United, to Tottenham as well. But yeah, I think he looks very good, Chris Rigg. You know, he's the kind of player that I like to watch. You know, left-footed as well, very good on the ball. And I think if he has a good season at Sunderland, I think he might get snapped up because he's only young. And again, this guy was starting week in, week out for Sunderland in the Championship, which is not easy to do. So, yeah. Yeah. But, guys, listen up. Obviously, been going for over an hour. Big up yourselves each and every time. So, 32 likes, guys, which isn't... which is very good, to be honest with you. Just quickly, Jude Fenwick, big up Jude, says, what team do you see having a drop-off next season due to Europe or just bad form? I'm not too sure, man. I think all the teams in Europe, bar Liverpool, City, I mean Arsenal, possibly Arsenal as well. I think Newcastle, because again it comes down to do with the squad. If they've got a good squad, then you think they can juggle both things. So I'm not quite sure really, you know, but I think a lot of the teams like the Newcastles that are in Champions League and having to contend with the league might be a problem. But again, the transfer window's still open, so anything can happen. But you would expect the teams that have got Europe, the likes of your Forest, your Crystal Palaces, you know, they might find both things to juggle quite hard. But yeah, I'm not too sure, man. I think until this transfer window is shut, I think we still have to keep an eye out for what teams are going to do what. Because as long as their the transfer window is open, you know, they could make a couple of more signings that might change people's minds. You know, so it is what it is. Big up Sharon says, "Are you doing the live tomorrow?" I am. I won't be live, guys, on Saturday though. So Saturday I'm busy. But I'll definitely be live tomorrow to give you guys the stream that I should have done on Saturday. So yeah. And obviously next week, you know, I'm gonna obviously be live a few more, probably a bit more, probably twice a day. Obviously, because I'm off work for a little while now. So yeah, some more content. And again, I'll be doing Next Gen 50. So again, if some of you don't know what Next Gen 50 is, it's the best 50 young players in world football. And also I just do like a little talk on them and the trajectory that they might go on. So yeah, give that a check. Obviously, it's on my playlist, Next Gen 50. So yeah, give that a watch, guys, and tell me what you think as well. So Sharon, I'm gonna schedule it. So I'm not sure what time, but if your notifications are on, you'll see what time I go live. I'm not quite sure yet, but maybe a similar time, because obviously maybe a similar time to today, 7:30. But yeah, keep your notifications on and you'll see when I'm live. But guys, listen up. Big up for all your questions. Big up to all the mods each and every time. Big up to all the newcomers in the chat as well for your questions. You know, again, 33 likes on the channel, which is good. Obviously, we're growing, we're building, and obviously it's due to you guys, a lot of you that show up every day as well. And again, it's much appreciated. But yeah, as I said, make sure you check out my other content as well. And make sure your notifications are on to see when I go live. And again, guys, big up yourselves for coming on and interacting. And I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.